Good morning and welcome to this Friday morning live where we're going to do a little bit of crafting with you. I have got a class this morning, so I will be whizzing off. So we'll probably be a little bit, hopefully a little bit shorter today. But nevertheless, we're here. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and it is lovely to join you to do a little bit of crafting today. So let me quickly bring up some of my slides. So this is my website. This is where you can go and find all the links to shops and classes and downloads, all of those things, blog posts, inspiration, all over there on my website. As I said, I have got a class coming up today, and it is this technique class with a mini album, but we've got more classes in the pipeline. So Saturday Stampers, let's get into Christmas. That is happening on October. I needed to change that picture on there. It is actually October the 7th that is happening, which is actually World Card Making Day. So come and join me on World Card Making Day to actually make some cards. And then we've got our monthly card club for October, which is going to be using the Berry Christmas products. Really exciting. Mega Stamper Stack that is happening in October as well. So we're going to be making 10 cards, 5 each of 2 different designs, so get a bit of a pile of Christmas cards going at that Stamper Stack. And then the retreat is coming up, so whether you have it through the post in a box or whether you have it and come along in person, I can still squeeze a couple more people in. That is coming up very soon. And talking of World Card Making Day, Stampin' Up are actually hosting an event, a free virtual card making event on that day. You can find out more details about that. But yes, you can register and come and join them for their free World Card Making Day event on that 7th of October. But you can also play catch up with that event. So there's no reason why you can't do both that. At my in-person event, you can do both. So that's very exciting. Another thing we've got coming up in October is a stamp camp, and that's happening at the end of October. So you buy the suite from me and you'll get 26 projects that you can make using that fantastic suite. So that's always worth joining in with. And online releases, there's constantly new online releases going up, and at the moment there is some really beautiful papers in the online section of our store, which you won't see in any printed catalogue, but are available there online, and we're going to be using one of those today. So whistle stop tour of news for today. But let me bring in my downward facing camera and let's have a look at what we are going to be using. So we've got the Translucent Florals stamp set. So you can see this stamp set, you've got these 2 big blooms and this leaves, and there's a little bloom there. You've got this sort of foliage bit. Some really nice greetings. You're the best. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Wishing you all the happiness in the world. That's rather lovely, isn't it? And that's useful for all sorts of things, whether it's birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, new jobs, all sorts of things, new houses. You could use that for all sorts of occasions, couldn't you? And you've also got this little flower centre bit here as well. So some nice stamps to make up some really big blooms in that one, and then obviously dies to go with it. So as you'd expect, you've got the dies that are going to cut out these stamped images, but you've also got these dies that will build up some 3D flowers, and I've seen a lot of those done in coloured vellum to make that sort of translucent flower in sort of 3D form, and they're really, really pretty. But we're not necessarily going to be using vellum today, but what we are going to be using, hopefully, is some of this online special paper. These can only get available only online. It's not in any of the catalogues, but it is rather beautiful, and it is while stocks last. So don't hang around. If you want some, make sure you get it. As you can see, you've got these really gorgeous floral print on one side, and on the other you've got like these watercolory coloured papers that you can use to stamp on, you can use to die cut from, or you can just use some gorgeous backgrounds. There's a pretty peacock one with the leaves, There's a so coral one with this lovely sort of little ditzy flower print. And there's a pretty sort of fresh freesia come powder pink one with these big flowers on the back here that you just want to take your scissors to get cutting. And you've got this beautiful sky almost, isn't it, that one? And you've got some more leaves there with these greens and a touch of yellow in there as well. And last but not least, you've got the green with another all over floral print. So beautiful colours in these papers, and really useful with both that floral and leaf print on one side and those watercolory effects on the other. So let's have a little look at these stamps. Let me grab myself. Let's get a bit of basic white just here. Let's have a little look. Now they are stamps that, although they look flat, are going to give us quite a bit of detail when we stamp them. So I think I'm going to come in with some berry burst. That's one of the colours in the papers. A lovely colour. Do you like berry burst? So let's ink up this stamp. As we stamp it, oh, I've got some little, that was quite nice actually with those blobs on the top. Those blobs are not supposed to be on the top, but I quite like the effect of it. But you get these dark outlines and then you get the soft coloured inner piece. Let's try this one. It's because I have got a very juicy ink pad, and when you're doing these sort of specially detailed stamps, you don't necessarily want a very juicy ink pad. Let's try. Didn't actually want the leaf. You can see where the ink pad is so juicy that it is gathering on the top. Let me just take a spatula. Let me just bring some of this ink to one side. See how much ink I've got on that spatula just there. Let's try inking up where we've moved some of that ink, and that's better. Still a couple of little spots on there, but nothing like as much. So it's just when you've got a fairly new ink pad, that ink has just pooled slightly. I quite like the effect it's given me actually, but you just need to move some of that ink out of the way if you want to avoid all of those spots. So here we've got our 3 different size flowers, and you've got this bold line effect with that softer colour inside, and that's all created just with one stamp. No colouring, no anything. You could obviously go in and add more shading if you'd like to with a watercolour pencil or a blender pen, water painter, any of those things. But there we have some flowers. And then I'm going to grab this leaf image and let's stamp that. couple of those. And then if I go into my stamp set and grab this little centerpiece just here, and some memento, I think. Someone's really revving up a motorbike outside. I'm going to add in a centerpiece to that flower just there. Let's grab our little flower one there, and we'll take our leaf one. And some, oh, I'd shut down my screen on my laptop. There we go, that's better. And we'll just line those dies up then with those floral images. Just going to cut these. Got because I have got a class this morning. I've got die cutting machines and things packed, so I've just grabbed my little one out to do this, and then we'll hopefully we won't need the big one. Wind these through. There's one lot of leaves. Here comes number 2. And they really are just a little bit unusual, these images. Got a different look to them. Didn't quite take that right through to the top. Rather than wind it through again. Just going to take my good old trusty paper snips and chop that top bit off. Let's take our flowers. Goes on there. And our little one. Hang on to those flowers, I'm sure we'll use them again. We've got these beautiful leaves. These big bold flowers. I'm sure we're going to be able to do something rather wonderful with those. Let's bring in this paper. I'm going to go for this sort of blue buttoned one. And it is a pool party, I do believe, yes. Just double check that I'm not fibbing to you. Come in and cut a piece that's 9.5 centimetres wide by 13.9, so that would be 3 3/4 by 5 inches if you're using it. Really just look like sky with that cloud in there. That little one coming in there. To bring in, oh, sorry, battering you now. I'm going to bring in a pool party mat for the background, I think. So I'm going to cut that up 14.4 by 10. And grab ourselves a white card base. Pool party mat. Really pretty, isn't it? I think we'll come in with a wishing you all the happiness in the world. Let's stick these in place. I think we're going to come in with some Tombow on here. And we'll have some glue on this one too. Coming up here. And I'll pop some dimensionals on the back of here. We're into our outside edge pieces, but that's all good. Not going to waste any. Won't matter that they're odd little shapes on the back because nobody will see those. in there. And I think I'll pop dimensionals on the back of here too, so that's still raised up, even though we're going to tuck it behind that other one. And then we'll have this little bird. Have that just tucking out underneath there. And let's add our DSP to our pool party mat. Let's add that to our white card base. Let's bring in some of this. It's not parakeet party, it's, did I say parakeet party? If I did, it's not, it's lemon lime twist. Got some lemon lime twist ribbon here. I do like this ribbon. Let's come a bit nearer to the edge, otherwise we're going to be wasting a lot of ribbon. And we don't want to do that if we don't have to. Let's chop that off. We'll have that come in there. A little blue dot. And I find the end of my glue dots, and now they're rolling off across the floor like an Andrex puppy. Let's get rid of that. We'll pick that up and just tuck that underneath there like that. And then flick to decide what gems we might like. Possibility. I come in with some of these pastel iridescents. They pick up that blue, don't they, quite nicely, but they've also got little bits of pink shining through as well. Quite nice. Let's have one coming in down there. We've got that sort of cloud effect coming through in the paper in the background. We've built up those flowers a little bit. Just quite pretty. So they are really a lovely flower. So just a little bit unusual. But rather beautiful. So that's what the stamped images look like. Let's have a little look at some of the die cut images. I think I'm going to take this one, this one, this one, and this centerpiece just here. Just clear some of these things out of the way. Pop those gems in. We'll pop that little card to one side. And I'm going to grab, I think, we'll go some bubble bath. Some oddments of bubble bath here. Let's utilise some of those. Can we get that little bit out of there too? Yes, we can. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. Feeling on my desk somewhere. Yes, I've got a little bit of gold foil. I might make this centerpiece out of gold foil. So as I say, I've seen lots of these created with coloured vellum, and they look rather beautiful. But we're just going to use standard cardstock. I've gone with bubble bath with this lovely, pretty, soft pink. With baby pink. That. One, two, three, and let's do this gold foil bit just here. Oh, and here. Let's put our dies back on my magnetic sheet. Let me grab bubble bath ink. Ooh, just throwing that around a bit. And I've got a little blending brush here. And to come in around the edges. I'm going to give a tickle in the centre there. Let's do this one. Around the edges. Oh, let's not forget our tickle in the middle. Around the edges. And a tickle in the middle. Right, so now we've gone from just the plain pink. If I put that on, you can hopefully see that there's that extra shading coming through now on that pink flower. So we'll have it coming like that. We'll have this little bit in the top here. And then we've got our little centerpiece to create a really pretty little flower. So let's stick that together. Going to add Tombow in the center. Not going to add lots of glue to it. There is more glue on there than I anticipated, but let's try and be a little bit more gentle with this one. I think. And then a little tiny bit in the center there. We'll put our center of our flower in. Leave that to dry a little bit, but then when it's dry I can have a bit of a play with it and shape it round a little bit, but we'll sit that to one side just for those layers to dry off. Now, what to do with our little flower? Some bubblegum cardstock. I really quite like. Where's that little print gone? Where are you? Here I am, here I am. How do you do? I think I'm going to do this so it goes the other way. So we've got a landscape card rather than a portrait. So let's cut a piece that is 9.5 off the bottom of here. Swing it round and cut it at 13.9. Thinking to myself, I'm going to cut that at 13.9. And I'm going to tear it down each side. Let's come back in with our little brush and our bubble bath. We'll just do a little bit of inking down those torn edges. To come in with this little foliage stamp and some soft sea foam, I think she says. Aha, there it is. bring some more in down the bottom here, I think. Oh. Oh, they're pretty. Grab some bubble bath ribbon. I'm going to have that come across there. And we'll see, we'll perhaps put a bit of a bow on with that as well. Just thinking it needs something. Let's bring in this little leaf stamp. To use lemon lime twist. Am I? Might try Pretty Peacock actually. Let's stamp it off. Really lost my bit of scrap card. We've got some stamped off Pretty Peacock, so it's a much paler colour than if we'd have gone in solid. We'll dry cut those leaves. Again, we've got that dotty on there where I haven't taken the ink to one side, but again, I quite like it. It's quite a bit of texture to the surface of the leaves. But if you don't like it, then the solution is just to move. If you've got a particularly juicy ink pad, I've not long ago replaced all of my ink pads, so they're all new ink pads, which means that they're all that little bit juicier. And it is just a question of moving to one side some of that surface ink when you've got juicy ink pads. Let's turn that round so that the handle is in front of me. That would be much easier. Right. And last but not least, one side. let's bring this back in. Let's cut this piece of card to 10 by 14.4. So that would be a 4-inch by 5 1/4 if you were working in Imperial. Sit on there. Let's have this coming up here. Bring this in. Okay. I'm going to stick my flowery print. It's really pretty, isn't it, that colour? But for now, we're hiding it. Then I'm going to stick my torn strip. So it's left of centre. Let's bring in some of our bubble bath ribbon. So this comes from the pack that has 3 colours in it. It has Azure Afternoon, Lemon Lolly, and this bubble bath. So really pretty colours. Add some tape. There we go. Let's now stick that to the card base. Bring our flower, and now that it's dried a bit, let's just play about with some of these petals and just give them a bit of shape. And I think we'll have a dimensional underneath that flower, just to raise it up a little bit. We've got our little pretty peacock leaves. Think about like that. I'll stick these down flat. Let's pop in a little bow. Glue dots. And greeting. I think I might go with the happy birthday. Bring in some white card and dust buddy. Some Versamark. And some gold embossing powder. Put it on my shelf and it jumped out again. Just ramp up my heat gun. Get that nice and hot. Watch as the magic happens and it turns from a dull powder into shiny, shiny gold letters. I'm going to bring in my big scissors. It's always easier. And to tear across that edge. Just come in again with that pink. Add that in down there. And then I think we want something quite gold, are they? We'll come in with these gold sequins. These are from the pastel adhesive back sequins. And we'll have a few of these scattered around. Let's have one just there. A few gold sequins scattered around and about to pick up the gold in the greeting and in the center of the flower. So 2 cards, one sort of highlighting the watercolor wash background papers and the stamped images that have then been die cut with the coordinating dies of just these really lovely bold flowers, and that don't need an awful lot else to go with them really to create something beautiful. We could have made a nice frame and had them sitting in a frame. Yeah, all sorts of ways. And then this one is using some more of that patterned paper, but using the floral pattern side, or there's the side with the leaves on, and the die cut flowers. So we've created a die cut flower just from some bubble bath pink card that's been inked up to give it some more shading and some more detail, and some of those stamp foliage in the background, and some die cut leaves. So 2 cards that sort of are highlighting the versatility of both the stamp set and dies, and also that gorgeous paper that is only available while stocks last. So if you want it, make sure you get it. Yeah, you don't want to be hanging around. Lost my cursor. There it is. There it is, and there I am. So that's pretty perfect timing now to head off to my class and yeah, go and do a memory keeping project, which is always good fun. So it's been lovely to spend some time with you this morning. Have a really good day. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll be back with you all very soon.